You could accept the fact that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
What do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Well, they said it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmys and the Joes.
It was a legitimate call. It made sense. It was pass interference. I don't care what anybody says. That was pass interference, offensive pass interference. Yeah.
Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football from two men in know. It's Fall on the Know with Jim and Joe.
And you can win under pressure when it's there. You call runs when you're not supposed to. And Dak Prescott is throwing it in the dirt.
You know, I'm convinced that Jameis Winston is going to have an ESPN special 30 for 30.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome once again to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee, and alongside of me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, know-it-alls? Welcome back for another edition of Football on the Know Show. We are ready to go and talk some more football this week.
Absolutely.
However, we're going to change it up a little bit now. Now we all know about the grading for drafts that everybody loves to do. You know, whether you're an experienced professional or whether you're just a regular casual football guy, it's fun to talk about. It's one of those things that, you know, we like to debate back and forth. Oh, this is a better draft pick. This is that's not a good one. That was a reach. We're going to go back in time a little bit. We're going to go back to 2017 pretty soon because realistically you can't grade. You just can't grade a draft pick based on nothing. And that's what seems to be always the thing that keeps revolving around every single year. Everybody's too quick to judge on a draft pick that we just had a 2020 draft, right? Mm-hmm. But everybody's throwing out grades saying, well, that's a reach. This is a terrible pick. That's a great pick, and so forth. But you have to wait at least 2, maybe 3 years until you can really hone in on a true grade for that potential player. We're going to go back to 2017. Mm-hmm. And we're going to give our pass and fail grades for the first round.
Absolutely. That's going to be a lot of fun. Again, like you said, usually it takes about 3 years to see what you got. And a lot has happened since then, too, with some of these players. So it's going to be very interesting moving forward.
Should be.
I want to welcome everybody here to Football on the Know,
yes.
Especially from Twitch. We just started streaming on Twitch as well. And our Facebook friends here on the Football on the Know group and on Twitter. Or no, we're not on Twitter anymore. On YouTube. Football on the Know Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. But yeah, we've been talking about Dak Prescott throughout the whole summertime so far, or actually just started to become summer now. But the offseason until then, was he going to sign? What's going to go on? What could potentially happen? Is he going to hold out? But with everything that's going on with the nation, with health and everything,
a lot of
the seasons. I mean, we just heard a little bit from Ian Rappaport today that, now July 28th, everybody's going to be showing up. What kind of camps are we going to look at? We're not so sure what it's going to look like. A lot of stuff moving forward, but now Dak Prescott announced that he was going to sign the tender here on Monday, which he did, and now he's going to be making $31.4 million on the franchise tag. Locked in. Something, he wanted, big money here, and he wouldn't budge. Now he goes and signs that. Now is the interesting point now here for the Dallas Cowboys, because they wanted to get that long-term deal here done. He wanted shorter years, but now he's locked in for 1 year on this contract. So what's next year going to look like here for the Dallas Cowboys, Joe?
Yeah, that's the big thing here. Is it wasn't necessarily about the money from all reports coming out of Dallas. It was more about the amount of the length of the contract. So Dak Prescott himself wanted no longer than 4 years. He wanted a shorter term deal. Now the Cowboys were looking for 5, 6, 7 years. And he didn't want to go long-term because Dak Prescott was thinking long-term for himself. He was thinking if he could get out in 4 years out of a deal, he's still technically in his prime and could maybe cash in on another mega deal later on down the road. Cowboys didn't want to do that. So that's really what the whole struggle was. I don't believe that the money was the issue per se, but it was more of a tug and war battle on, well, we want this many years and you want that many years. We just can't seem to agree on anything. So Dak Prescott goes ahead, he signs his franchise tag. A lot of money he's going to get for 1 year of play time, $31.4 million, like Jim was saying. And this is an interesting situation for the Dallas Cowboys because not only do they have Dak Prescott for this year, but they also signed a quarterback by the name of Andy Dalton from the Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton, make fun of him, whatever you want to say about the guy, but the guy is an efficient quarterback. He is a good quarterback. In my opinion, and I think you feel the same way, I feel as if with Andy Dalton in here, if he could learn this offensive system and get it down, which that's not a question. He's a smart gentleman, but I think it would be better for Dallas if they just put Andy Dalton in right now and started Andy Dalton. Here's the tricky part now. Now that we just got news of Dak signing that tender, this kind of puts Dallas in a predicament. Now they're forced. They're absolutely forced to start Dak Prescott because you're not going to pay a guy $31.4 million to sit the bench now. That option's out the window. You got Andy Dalton, a great insurance policy in case Prescott goes down with an injury, but at least for this season, it's going to be Dak's show. Going forward, I think it would be smart for the Cowboys if they started to think about maybe life without Dak Prescott. Because if this is the kind of contract going forward, this kind of money that he's going to be expecting somewhere in that $30 million range over the next 3 years. So he doesn't want to go over 4 years. So after this season's done, he's going to look for a 3-year contract now. So I don't know if the Cowboys are going to be that comfortable at it. And why, go back and forth with this guy? Do we offer him more money? To try to maybe lure him to get a 5 or 6 year deal? Or more, or do they kind of just, bite the bullet here and move on from without him? That way you're going to save yourself all that cap room. Instead of investing heavily in Dak Prescott now, you'll have Andy Dalton for the future. Just re-sign him. It's not going to cost them nearly as much as Dak will. And I feel like that would be the best move for the Cowboys going forward. What do you think?
It's a good backup plan. I mean, because, again, you've got him here. Now, this coming season will be the tell-all for it. I mean, the Cowboys have been primed and ready to make a long run into the playoffs. They haven't been able to, and that's the one problem with this team. Now, say they do this season, and he's on the franchise tag, and, Mahomes is able to lock in his deal. He's the highest paid, and as it goes forward, say the Dallas Cowboys do win the Super Bowl, then he comes off that tag. I'm going to get paid now.
Big money
now. I need to do it.
Yeah.
And again, if he's looking at short term, now he's looking at what, a 3-year deal then? It would have to
that's
be.
That's what he wants.
Yeah. So and then you're looking at a 3-year deal. Now the Cowboys are faced with that. Are they going to be willing to do something like that at max pay? Because that's what his agent's going to look for. Say, my client just won you a Super Bowl.
Highest paid.
Is it going to be? Yeah, here you go. Now, this is the thing that there's the problem here, where they weren't able to budge and work out a deal on this whole thing, and that they're going to be facing. Now, he plays on the tag. Say he doesn't play as well. Say they don't live up to the expectations again. They don't even win the division. We'll just say that. Maybe they get second, or Eagles are able to take it, or whatever. Then again, the question still lingers here with this guy. And this is what I think maybe, yes, he's good enough to be their quarterback, but that's what I think they've always been asking themselves. Is he worth the higher accredited money? They said it before. We are not willing to pay a quarterback top money. You know what I'm saying? Unless you have shown definitely that you are one of the top 2 or top 5.
Which he's not.
No,
I mean, we've been over this discussion about Dak Prescott. Is he worth that big time money? And he just simply isn't. Like, you can go ahead and point at the stats all you want, and don't get me wrong, he does have really good stats, but is it at that upper echelon? Is that elite level? I mean, is he a Russell Wilson to you? Is he an Aaron Rodgers to you in his prime? Is he a Drew Brees to you? Is he Tom Brady to you? If he's not in that realm, then you just can't pay that kind of money to the guy. And we talk about Patrick Mahomes, who's right now negotiating a deal, which, mind you, is sounding like it's going to be around $40 million. Now, just to your argument, what you were saying, if they are very successful this year and they do make the playoffs, say they don't even get to the Super Bowl, they just at least make the championship game, okay? He's going to turn around and look at what we did. Look at what I did. I brought us that far. Now you got to pay me. You're going to try to compare yourself to Patrick Mahomes at that point, who already has won a Super Bowl and now has that hefty contract of possibly around $40 million, you're going to want what? To eclipse that? I'm sorry. I'm out after that point. I'm sorry. After $30 million, I just can't do it. I can't do it myself.
Mm-hmm, and I agree, and that's where I think that scenario plays in. We've got Jonathan DJ Radar Hall in the house.
All right. What's
DJ
up, John?
Radar in the house. Yeah, Jonathan says, hi, guys. Hey, what's up? Pleasure having you on the show here. If you guys
Definitely
if you
welcome.
want to comment here, drop what you think about any of these issues or things that we're talking about here. We're talking about Dak signing the franchise tag. In just a bit here, we're going to move on now to our NFC West biggest questions. We've been covering all the biggest questions from all the divisions so far, except for that we're going to be doing the South next. So that'll be, I think, the end of it. We'll be doing the AFC South next week, and the week after the NFC South. And then we'll be wrapping it up. And then hopefully we'll be diving into training camps and things like that and other stories moving forward.
Fantasy,
and then
maybe
we will
even fantasy
do
football.
some fantasy for you guys. And then also preview the season when it happens to start. So it's very exciting. Pleasure having you with us here tonight. But yeah, let's get into our next segment, and that is the NFC East biggest questions, or NFC West, biggest questions. All right, here we go. And moving forward here, we have the Arizona Cardinals. All right, now, how will they use Isaiah Simmons? Now, this is a big question here for them. They draft him in the first round. Outstanding linebacker here out of Clemson, but he can play safety. He can play on the outsides. He's good in zone coverage. He can actually really great on the jam, too. Really gets it into the wide receivers and apply pressure, and a ball hawk. He can pick off interceptions left and right here. Really great applying pressure. He's like a versatile tool. He can move all around. Much the way, he's not the same player as Minka Fitzpatrick, but multi-layered. You can move him in different spots and be able to use him. So how do you think the Arizona Cardinals are going to be able to use him here?
Very versatile player coming out of college, out of Clemson. That's the biggest question, and that's what it was going into this draft, is people were wondering, well, where do you really put this guy? You know, he can do a lot of things extremely well. He has great size. He has speed for his size, which is pretty unlikely. Like, you don't see that kind of rarity with his size at 6'4", and like 225, 230 pounds. The guy is an elite athlete all around. He has played safety in college. He's played linebacker in college. He's played D-end in college. He's even played, for his size, nickel corner, which is just scary to think about. So he has at times played almost every single position on the defensive side of the ball, which makes this guy such an intriguing piece to use on this defense that they've kind of, in a couple off seasons, have really put together a well-rounded defensive lineup on paper right now. Isaiah Simmons is going to be another key cog in this defense. As of right now, I don't think you just put this guy in one spot and lock him in to a linebacking role, lock him into a D-end role, lock him into a safety or even slot corner at times. That's how versatile and dangerous this guy is. Extremely great pass rusher. He has great coverage skills as when he played predominant linebacker at Clemson, but he can do it all. Great tackler, all above. Super smart player. So I wouldn't limit this guy. There should not be a limitation on him. I understand teams are going to want to try to just kind of place him somewhere wherever there's a biggest hole for them and say, hey, that's where their spot's going to be. But think about the opportunity here for a defensive coordinator to utilize a guy like this. You could put him anywhere depending on what your packages are. You know, he could play one spot. He can play off the 3-4 edge at linebacker and just rush the quarterback. He can drop back into coverage. There's a lot to like with this kid. I don't think you limit him at all. You just play him wherever you want to play him.
Absolutely, and I think he's a great compliment to have with Chandler Jones in there, too, because Chandler Jones seems like he's been trying to do everything himself there in Arizona.
Well, he hasn't had enough help. So
absolutely. It's been bad here for them. You know, Patrick Peterson wanting out, Chandler Jones, again, being a silent threat there. You know, he had led the NFL in sacks a few years back.
Double-digit sacks.
And he keeps doing what he's doing. Yep. And still, despite all that, Arizona Cardinals are last against the pass on defense here in yardage, and 29th in against for points. And overall, I mean, whether the run or the pass, they just towards the bottom end of numbers here, and they can't get it done here. this will help maybe get some of that pass rush going here, get pressure on these quarterbacks that they're facing, and equal some stops here for them, because that's the only problem here too is Kyler Murray coming into this system here straight ahead. Towards the tail end, you saw them finally start to get things together here with the offense.
They were getting better,
struggling a little bit at first, but then also I think adding Kenyon Drake was a great move by the Arizona Cardinals here to complement so the offense here and get it going. And now I think having him on defense that applies pressure to maybe force some of these guys into fourth downs and turn over the ball. But also you got to look at who they're facing here in this division. This is a tough division. You're talking about Sean McVay and the LA Rams here, Jared Goff and that passing attack. Plus you have Russell Wilson, who is just a scrambler outright, but if you think you could stop him on the run, he'll just throw it right over you too and score at will. With not a lot of personnel here at wide receiver, now he's starting to get some more weapons there for him. And then also, the San Francisco 49ers, who were just a bit of a juggernaut and running the game and just pressing on you. So it's tough for this defense to get going here. That's the main key, I think, for these guys here. Isaiah Simmons is a great pickup for them to get this defense rolling, and it's exactly what they need.
Yeah, and Isaiah Simmons, don't get us wrong, he still has to develop.
Yeah,
he is a rookie. I know we're kind of hyping him up a little bit. I don't want to get any Cardinal fans way too excited here, but he still has to show up on the football field and deliver. Besides that, you look at what they've done in this offseason. In the last couple of offseasons, they've managed to build this roster on offense and defense. You look at the defense now this year, there's not a whole lot of holes on this side of the ball. Jim brought up, Chandler Jones, who is one of their most prolific pass rushers, and rightfully so. Now you bring in a guy like Isaiah Simmons. Now just think of the potential here of maybe putting him on the opposite side of Jones and having them both go right after the quarterback. So there's a lot to like there. Also, they've made some big additions. Jordan Phillips comes over from the Buffalo Bills, who is a phenomenal D tackle in the middle, basically a big Mack truck who will just bore through double teams all day long. You got Corey Peters, an older vet, but he also comes over from the Atlanta Falcons, used to play with the Eagles. He's gonna help, with that mental game for a lot of the youngsters. He's gonna help develop them and get them up to speed. Also, look at the couple of linebackers that they managed to pick up: Devondre Campbell, who also came from Atlanta; Jordan Hicks, who comes from the Eagles. Those are all upgrades right now. So you put all those guys together in that front now, unlike last year they didn't really have that. They had Chandler Jones, and that was pretty much it. Now it looks like they're a lot more solid, they're more well-rounded, and they're ready to get after it. And then Budda Baker. Can't forget about Budda Baker in the backfield at safety. Patrick Peterson is playing another season with the Cardinals. He's super excited about this group and can't wait to get started and get on the football field. There's a lot to like on the defense, but now we'll switch it over to the offense right now. Kyler Murray returns for a second year in the same offense. Usually that is going to dictate success for a quarterback. Hopefully it does for them, because he needs to take the next step up. After that, there's no question receiver was a problem last year. Now you fast forward to this year. They just traded for one of the best receivers in the game, and DeAndre Hopkins. Not too much not to like there.
Absolutely.
And to pair him up with Larry Fitzgerald, with Christian Kirk, who's starting to make a name for himself in Arizona. Offensive line that looks like it got a little retooled in the offseason. Maybe they'll produce better pass blocking for Kyler Murray. And in this backfield with Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds and the rookie Eno Benjamin, there's a lot to like with this team. And then even as a tight end, that was another gaping hole for them. And they addressed it this offseason with the likes of Max Williams coming over from the Ravens. He's going to get a legitimate shot to earn this starting job. And a lot has gone on. Just so a lot has taken place with the Cardinals. Now, with a lot of talent, they all got to get on the same page. But if they can manage to do that, the Cardinals could be a serious threat in this division. I know it sounds a little funny, but if they can get everything all lined up in a row, they'll be just fine.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of tough teams here, and they're all built differently. So this is going to be an interesting division here to take a peek at later on as the season develops. And also, wide receivers. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald, you say that's nice to matching him with DeAndre Hopkins, and you also have Christian Kirk, but also, too, you got Andy Isabella there sitting there,
Huge
too,
fan
as well.
of him.
So, I mean, a lot of talent here, firepower. Looking to get it done here. Great move by them in the offseason.
And that's the thing, too, is like it doesn't stop there. Like last year they were hurting, but they had a couple of rookies that got injured last year that weren't able to show their talents. Like a Hakeem Butler out of Iowa State. He's coming back in. He's a very big target. Could be an excellent red zone threat for Kyler Murray. You know, we all know that Murray's not that tall. So Hakeem Butler's like this tall compared to, you know what I mean? So there could be a lot to like with this team as they further develop and grow together.
Absolutely. Let's move on to now the Los Angeles Rams here. My biggest question here for them now is who will lead the backfield? Because we did have the exit of Todd Gurley. Now he goes to the Atlanta Falcons. And last year we got to see they traded up in the draft for Darrell Henderson, and he split some time here with Gurley and Malcolm Brown, and he averaged about 3.8 yards per carry at 39 attempts and 147 yards. So not too bad, 3.8 yards per carry. That's a little average here and there. They're able to sprinkle it in here with the passing game. Same thing with Malcolm Brown here at 3.7, 69 attempts at 255 yards. Still not carrying the workload, but when you have those guys sitting there after the exit of Gurley, are they going to be able to handle a little? Well, they go draft Cam Akers here in the second round, and despite having a poor offensive line here at Florida State, he was still able to produce for them, and also he was able to get points in the passing game. And this is what opens it up for them now, much like what Todd Gurley was. Not only he can run the ball, but he can also be a guy they can use on the outlet, with some
catch out of the
backfield. And that's perfect. And who doesn't want a 217-pound 4.44 runner here, too, back there, too?
Right.
I mean, it's nice. It's nice having him back there. I see a nice little him get most of the carries here and taking the lead, but they won't forget about these other two guys, especially when they traded up for Henderson. They're going to sprinkle them in here and there, spell them out, because I think they want to learn that they can't throw their guy out there and get him banged up like they did with Todd Gurley.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is offensive line. They kind of went through a little bit of a spell here of losing talent, trying to replace that talent, and hoping that they can kind of patch up that offensive line and keep it going to help protect Jared Goff. So now you look at this offensive line. They managed to talk to Andrew Whitworth that managed to keep him stay with the Rams, bring him over, and kind of hold on to him for another season here. The rest of this offensive line is going to be tricky because a lot of them are kind of journeymen, and they're kind of using patchwork here to try to keep Jared Goff upright. But I think that's going to hinder them going through this season. I don't think they have enough punch in that position and in those positions, and it looks like they might struggle from time to time with pass blocking for Goff, which we all know in his first year, in his rookie year, he struggled mightily because of that lack of protection. It might come back to bite them this season. But going forward, they still have Cooper Kupp there. They did go ahead in the second round and draft one of my favorite receivers in Van Jefferson, who was injured in college, so he wasn't really projected to go in the first round, even though his talent level deserved so. But Van Jefferson, I think he is it's hard for rookie wide receivers especially to make an immediate impact right away. Hopefully that's not the case for the Rams with this pick. Hopefully he'll be able to get the playbook down really quick and just light up the football field, because they are going to need it after trading Brandon Cooks over to the Houston Texans. And some changes. Robert Woods, I believe. Did Robert Woods leave, or is he still on?
He's still there. They just lost Cooks, but
right.
I mean,
so they traded Cooks, and now it looks like they replaced him with Van Jefferson. I think over time it's going to be better for them, but we have to wait and see how these guys develop. Also at tight end, they got Tyler Higbee there. He kind of splashed on the scene last year, was a lot more productive for them because Gerald Everett was hurt most of the season. And now Gerald Everett is returning. So, I mean, they have some talented weapons to utilize. And Cam Akers, He's a rookie. Now, if there's one position that a rookie can make an impact right away, and that's running back. It's usually one of those things where they can kind of just hop on. As long as they get the offense down, they can just take off running. And then on defense, defense was another thing that they kind of had to go through a few changes here because guys aging, guys wanted to test the free agent market. Aaron Donald's still there, obviously, because he signed that new deal with them. A'Shawn Robinson is a new face in L.A., comes over from the Detroit Lions at D-tackle. A good player, not elite, but a good player. Michael Brocker's still there. Micah Kaiser looks like he's penciled in to be a starting linebacker for them. Leonard Floyd comes over from the Chicago Bears, which is an interesting move. A guy that was seen more for his 3-4 edge style of play with the Chicago Bears. He comes over, and he's going to fit this defense to a T with Wade Phillips, who loves to run the 3-4. So that's going to play out well. John Johnson at safety. Troy Hill I think he's a good nickel corner. Let's see what they utilize with him there. But nonetheless, there's a lot more change on defense than there is offense. So I feel that defense might be a little bit weaker, especially against the pass like it was last year. And it's going to hinder this team overall. I don't foresee this team making a major push into the playoffs.
Right. And I agree with you here, too. The same thing on defense, slowly but surely dropping off. And also this offense, again, last year was kind of pressed to put up points here and there to where people were looking at Jared Goff and like, looks like maybe you guys overpaid for him now. After that great season, threw it out there. You had to pay him to get him going here. He has your franchise quarterback. But, now they're set. Cooks leaves, and now you have Robert Woods and Reynolds and Kupp now into the number 1 slot, number 2 / spot here. Now you see Josh Reynolds move up there in the slot to take over for his spot. Like you said, great weapons here. Can they get it going? We'll see moving forward. But the running back position, it's all open out there, and it should be interesting to take a look at moving forward. All right, now let's move on to our next team, and that will be the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the question I have for the San Francisco 49ers is, can they become more of a balanced offense here? This is my question for the 49ers because last year, again, you got to see them be that running juggernaut. They were first, in overall points on the run, attempts, and second. I mean, they were just the first rushing attack throughout the NFL. Scoring, they are top 5 in scoring altogether. But if you look now back on the passing situation, it wasn't very good. In passing attempts, they were in 29th, and most of those are all off a play-action pass. And if you look back at the yardage now, there's a nice little stat that's tracked, and it's called intended air yards. Their intended air yards are 6.5. So that means the air in which the ball travels before it is intended to be caught. So he's doing dink and dunk little passes here and there, and that's where they got into issues in the Super Bowl and other times in the playoffs to where people are questioning, why isn't Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the ball more? Why aren't they doing this? And we're relying too much on the run. So with this team, with getting Brandon Ayuk in the draft here now, along with Deebo Samuels and some other weapons that they have, George Kittle, will they get more involved in the passing now and keep it more of a balanced offense here to help Jimmy G and his offense move forward and help that defense from not getting tired out?
I think what you saw is Kyle Shanahan kind of worrying about the flashbacks back to the Super Bowl when it was Atlanta versus the Patriots and how he was, ridiculed mightily and deservedly so of not running the football enough in the second half of that game. So you saw that happen in the playoffs, and I just think he kind of concentrated too much on the game plan of running. And you also got to realize, too, is he's also utilizing the personnel that he has to the best of their ability. So they were already built to run the football. So that's why I think you see Kyle Shanahan's offense kind of take a shift to more of a running style offense and maybe a little bit less of a passing game that he did heavily utilize in Atlanta because of the lack of weapons. So you're seeing that now, or this past season. Now, this season, they managed to add a rookie who they are absolutely in love with, and I think they hit the nail on the head with this guy, Brandon Ayuk out of Arizona State. A very gifted athlete, very gifted receiver, catches everything, has super long limbs for a wide catching radius, runs great routes, has speed. He has everything that they want him to. They're going to go ahead and insert him into this offense. It looks like right now he's going to be either the number 1 or number 2 receiver. Deebo Samuel is still going to be that go-to guy in the slot, and they're going to see who's going to win that other starting outside job for them. Jalen Hurd, he got hurt last year. He looks to come back healthy this year to prove to the Niners when he got drafted in the 3rd round last year, or in 2019. He's going to see, did they get their guy? Did they get their guy in the 3rd round that's going to end up being their next starter? We'll have to wait and see how he develops. Kendrick Bourne, another kind of no-name type player who started to kind of make a name for himself with this organization, and let's see if he can kind of break the mold and get out there in the starting lineup. Also, what's bigger news than anything is we've seen Joe Staley kind of be in and out of the lineup this past season. Now he has retired, and every Niners fan I know, when they heard that news, they were kind of like, "Oh, crap, we got to protect Jimmy G." Don't worry, Niners John Lynch at GM came right in, and he locked in Trent. That's right, Trent Williams. They managed to work out a deal to get him traded from the Redskins to the Niners. Trent Williams now goes from one team of not having a shot to go to the playoffs, and now goes to a potential Super Bowl team that could make it this very next season.
All right, Joe, we've got a very special guest up in the house tonight.
There he is. What's going, Albert?
Albert Alvarez is in the house.
Oh,
He
my
says,
God.
Sup, my family.
A blast from the past,
Oh,
you know?
yeah. It's been
What's
a long
going
time,
on, brother?
Albert. It's a pleasure having you on here. Oh, man, it's been so long.
I just want to say congratulations, Albert, because we were talking a little bit this past week,
Yeah,
and
awesome.
he is going to be a new homeowner.
Oh, really?
So
Excellent.
congratulations to you and your family, Albert. I wish you all the best.
Excellent.
And really appreciate you hopping in. We miss you, buddy. We
Yeah,
miss you.
I know. Yeah, especially his takes on the Houston Texans, a big Texans fan.
Yeah, huge Texan
Has
fan.
a couple of group pages, too, as
And
well.
knows his stuff, you know. And that's the other thing, too, is that I'm just going to say right now, if you're looking for a great NFL page to go to on Facebook, you know us guys. You know us know-it-alls. But let's introduce you to our neighbor at NFL Talk All 32. If you would like to go ahead and hop over to NFL Talk All 32, make sure you go ahead, become a member of them, and guys like Albert make that group work. They really do. And very knowledgeable. They're always on top of stories and whatnot, just like we are. So thank you, Albert. A little plug for you.
Yeah, there you go. And he says, I've been depressed with D-Hop leaving.
Oh, I can imagine, bro.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Bill O'Brien. I've been waiting to talk to Albert about this too, because they fail in the playoffs here with a lead. Messes up in that game, and that rewards him to
GM status.
GM spot. And then one of his first moves is trade away DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, one of your best players.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's no big deal, right?
I know.
Nice job, dumbass.
Yeah,
I
I know.
agree.
I mean, that's what he was probably thinking too. So, I mean, that was just ludicrous, and I'm sure everybody in Houston was blowing their minds right here. I mean, you got David Johnson, excellent, a guy who peaked at one point and then has been injured since and hasn't been able to
Torches
be the
and
same guy.
pitchforks, man. All at Bill O'Brien's house.
I know, I bet. I hear you. Yeah, yes, sir. He's like, we talk football. Yes, at NFL Talk, all
Absolutely.
32. Great group. I'm a pleasure to be a member myself, too.
Absolutely.
I love it. Albert Alvarez,
Me
a
as well.
big part of that as well.
Great guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, now I'm going to continue what I was going to say.
49ers,
So anyway, we just talked about Trent Williams being that new addition at the left tackle spot for them. Oh my God. What a great addition.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Staley retires. They just kind of insert one of the Pro Bowl left tackles right in there.
Guys
They're
we
not
want
going to
now.
miss a beat now.
Nope.
This offensive line was one of the better ones in the league. Now they just got strong and they stayed strong. So they don't lose anything there. What's going to be interesting to see this development in this receiving core. Is Jalen Hurd going to really be pushing for that starting role? Will Kendrick Bourne push for that starting role? Will the rookie Brandon Ayuk, which he's supposed to be, Is he going to be able to win that spot over these guys that may have another year under their belts? But offensively, we know their running game is really strong. They got Raheem Mostert there. They got Tevin Coleman still there. There's a lot to like with that group. And they got a plethora of young guys that are trying to make the names for themselves. Also, Jerick McKinnon, who seems to always get hurt every year now. All of a sudden, it seems like a bug that he can't shake. But going on defensive side of the ball, a lot of people were kind of, and I know Niners fans were a little shocked by this, but they end up trading one of their Pro Bowl D tackles away to the Colts to get a first-round pick. And in turn,
that's true.
They did draft a great D tackle who I myself had rated as the number one best D tackle all around, and Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina. Guy is phenomenal. Another really big, long, lean type of D tackle who can pass rush, who can play the run, who's going to be a big disruptor in the middle of the football field. And you team him up with the likes of Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead. And Solomon Thomas looks like he's penciled in right now to be a starter once again alongside Javon Kinlaw. This team was already strong last year, and I don't think they got any weaker. In fact, this team got a little bit stronger, especially on offense with those two additions. So I'd watch out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Let's move on now to finally the Seattle Seahawks here in the NFC West. Biggest questions. My question for them is, can they return to the playoffs here? Because we saw this team just, again, relying on Russell Wilson's talent here. Doug Baldwin injured and down and out. He's completely done now. They can never get the tight end going, even though they've had talent there before. Their answer for that is not only, you have Luke Wilson there again, but then, you have...
They did have Jimmy Graham before.
Yeah, I know. And now you bring in Greg Olsen, who is beyond his years already. He's still been able to be productive at times, but as of late, injury prone, not doing too much the last couple of seasons.
Injured. Yep.
In Carolina, so they bring him there. And that should hopefully maybe open up some windows here for them. We're not sure, but then on defense is their big problem here. Offense, they've been able to get it going, and with the plethora, you want to talk about running backs, they go and steal Carlos Hyde. I mean, that was a guy that was just hanging out there. They did a move.
For a long time.
This is what the Seahawks do. They're much like the Patriots, to where you're in there floating around in the offseason, and you're like, oh, nothing's really going on. And then all of a sudden, ding, what's this? What? They got this guy? He's still out there? Yeah. And that's the way I felt about Carlos Hyde in the Seattle Seahawks. They go and grab Carlos Hyde there with that backfield with Chris Carson. It's going to be a great running attack to mix it up in play action and RPOs with Russell Wilson. But on defense, again, like I started to get into, they're struggling, really struggling, and they're no longer the Legion of Boom. Their answer at linebackers to go and get Bruce Irvin back here, who hasn't been with the team in years, last with Carolina. I don't think he's going to improve anything there. You've got KJ Wright, who's still been able to play well, still just 99 in Madden, which I don't get. And he's aging, so he's on the longer side of his years. And so moving forward with them, they just got to get better on defense for them to get into the playoffs. And I'm not sure with some of these other teams in this division getting a little better.
Absolutely, and that's the biggest key for them is defensively they've kind of taken a little bit of a hit here. Before when they used to be the Legion of Boom, they had every position was solid. There was not a crack in the wall. There was no big weakness for them. They had a tremendous pass rush on top of great linebacking core, on top of a great secondary. There really wasn't too much you could do against that defense. Now you look at this defense, and it looks a lot different. You have a lot of the same older faces because you look at guys like Bobby Wagner, he re-signed with them, but he's still around there. He's eclipsing past 30 now. You look at KJ Wright, who's now also a year older than Wagner. So these guys are starting to get a little bit long in the tooth, and they really haven't found the next youngster to go ahead and implement them right away. You look at the D-line. And that's where the biggest weakness to me is. Before I could look at this D-line, and Jerron Reed, as great as he is, he can't do everything. He is still there, but you got Poona Ford, who's basically an average nose tackle for them / D tackle. Bruce Irvin returns to Seattle. Why? I don't know. He's another guy that's getting older, and longer in the tooth. He's going to come back and fill in that Leo spot that he once had with Seattle years ago. Does he still have anything left in the tank? We've seen him go from team to team to team, and now he's back with Seattle because I think they're desperate at this point for a guy. And with him there, he doesn't scare me. And you look on the other side at the left DN spot with L.J. Collier. He was a rookie in 2019 who came in, got injured right away, so we still don't even know what we have in him as a Seattle Seahawk. He might not be as good as when they took him in the first round. We have to wait and see. So because of that uncertainty, I don't see a very good pass rush D-line. I see an aging linebacking core. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Bobby Wagner. I love KJ Wright. But they are getting older, and with age, you start to break down body-wise. So will that affect them this year? It might, and if it does, that's going to really hinder this defense going forward. They do have Bradley McDougall, who I absolutely love. They got an older safety in Quandre Diggs and a couple of stud corners. But after that, it seems like there's a lot more holes than there used to be. So I would say that the defense is going to kind of take a step back again for this upcoming season. They weren't great at stopping anybody between the 20s. They were pretty darn good in the red zone, but I feel like they're going to take another hit here, and they might be even weaker than last season. And then on offense, I think they got stronger. I think their offense got stronger, their defense got weaker. But you got DK Metcalf returning, another year in this offense. We've seen what he could do as a rookie. He's going to be even better this season. Tyler Lockett once again gets healthy. This running back core that they have of Carlos Hyde and Chris Carson, that's a nice 1-2 punch, but can both of them stay healthy? That's going to be a critical thing. Rashad Penny, he's another guy that gets injured. It seems like they got a backfield that tends to get injured throughout their careers. The one good thing is Carlos Hyde did manage to stay healthy last season, so that's some reassurance there. And the offensive line play, can they help and pass protect for Russell Wilson so Wilson doesn't have to run all over the place and create plays? So all in all, I feel like their offense got way stronger and their defense might have been just taking a step back in this one.
I just want to let you guys know we are having an issue with Restream again. The chat box
is
acting up again. It keeps crashing, so hang with us. If you guys did leave a comment on YouTube, please get with us, Joe, if you could. I don't know if you got it out there.
Stop yelling at me.
Maybe YouTube bring it up if anybody was on there, too, to set a comment up. We're trying to get to you. I've been trying to fix it this whole time here, but stick with us. I appreciate you guys checking us out here on YouTube and on Twitch and on Facebook Live, too. We appreciate it. But, yeah, like we said, this is the thing. On offense, they're about the same. Again, I do like Carlos Hyde, the addition there. Philip Dorsett, not really a big issue, addition there.
The one thing I'll say, too, is what's pretty crazy is like they could definitely rival anybody in the tight end position area.
Yeah.
When you got the likes of Greg Olsen. Now, listen, if he could stay healthy and they actually throw to the tight end more, I think he could be an intricate piece for this offense to kind of spread the ball around. Maybe do some double tight end sets because it's not like you have a lack of talent there.
Yeah.
Jacob Hollister, who kind of made a name for himself last year.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
He's there. And who else is on there?
You got Will Disley.
Another
Colby,
guy.
Parkinson. Drafted,
Cody Parkinson is injured. It doesn't even look like he might be able to play this year. So Will Disley, another guy, got injured last year, but was really kind of almost putting up Pro Bowl numbers last year before he got injured. So he was on pace for that. So they got like 3 hardcore, really great tight ends there to utilize. So that's going to be interesting to see if they get creative with all their weapons and not just a few.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, again, they are 30th against the run here on defense and 26th against the pass. So that goes to show you how this defense has really been, with only small highlights by certain players. Shaquille Griffin getting the interceptions here and there. So turnovers, they're like second, this defense here. So that would change things in your perspective of this team sometimes and how well they play at times here. But do not forget that you are giving up the chunks of yards and scoring when it matters, and that's the problem here. And whatchamacallit, Russell Wilson can't do it all here. You got to become more balanced. They might miss the playoffs this season. We'll see moving forward. And that is our NFC West biggest questions here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, definitely. All right, now moving forward again, we're just going to get to our in the know fact of the day here, Joe. Here
Excellent.
we go.
I love the fact of the day.
Oh, yeah. And I was going to dig deep for something crazy here, but you know what? Today actually marks the anniversary back in 1922 when the NFL and the Chicago Bears were named on the same day. I think I've said that one point before in one of our facts, but this one is pretty neat because you get to know that the NFL they changed from the APFA, and the Bears went from the Staleys. They used to be called the Chicago Staleys. A lot of people maybe didn't know that. So that is our in the know fact of the day here on this date, June 24th. In 1922, Joe. There you go.
No kidding. That's pretty cool.
All right. Any comments here on the YouTube at all?
I'm trying.
Forward?
I'm trying to.
All right. I'm sorry for everybody that was trying to comment, and we're trying to get to it. Technology fails sometimes. Moving forward, we'll try to do our best here to get you going. Have your voices be heard. We love to hear your comments. Also, you can follow us on Twitter, too. If you want to comment from there, we can follow our Twitter feed and see if you guys can.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at FB_no. Go ahead and hop on over there, and if you're not already a know-it-all, why don't you get into the groove here? Go ahead, hit us up on Twitter. Also, hit us up on YouTube if you haven't already done so. Go ahead and subscribe to us, Football on the No Show, and hit the notification bell for all the latest and greatest updated content. As well as you all know, we're also on Facebook.
Absolutely. All right, so that means we are going to get to our next spot here, and that is now our 2017
We're going back in
NFL
time.
Draft Pass and Fail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go right through here all the draft picks of 2017, Joe, and I'm going to ask you, pass or fail here, and you're going to tell me what you think here.
I gotcha. Okay.
All right, here we go. With the number 1 pick, the Cleveland Browns selected Myles Garrett here, the D end. Now, what do you give Myles Garrett here now, Joe? Is it a pass or is it a fail?
I mean, come on. Really? Is this even a thing? It's a pass 10 times fold. Myles Garrett, definitely worth the pick. And then some. We've seen him fight on the football field, throw his helmet at people. We've also seen him terrorize some quarterbacks, bringing them down to the ground. So the guy's a phenomenal pass rusher. What's not to love about a guy like that? Definitely a pass.
A pass. All right, here's the next interesting one. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. All right, with the numbers 2 selection here, the Chicago Bears select Mitchell Trubisky now here, Joe.
Boy.
This was a tough one because
this is too easy. So far, this is easy.
It is easy.
I'm
I
sorry.
can see it now, Mitchell Trubisky, because, it was tough to hear about Mitchell Trubisky because I was excited for him.
Right.
Hopefully, he could develop into something.
Yeah.
And he moved into, he just never got
to where
he
a downward
needed to.
spiral
Yes,
altogether.
Yep.
For me, it's a fail. For you, it sounds like it's a fail. So sorry, Mitch.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mitch, but we would have loved to, buddy. But at this point,
now he
you're
just
a
pretty much
failure.
lost his job already.
All right.
It looks like they gave up on him.
Yep, it's done. Now you've got Nick Foles here. All right. Moving into the third selection here. All right, the San Francisco 49ers select Solomon Thomas, the D end here, Joe. Solomon Thomas here.
Okay, so Solomon Thomas, and here's the craziest thing about the Niners is why do they keep every single year, it seems like they draft in the first round, no matter where they're picking, it's a D lineman. All the time they're taking D-line. Instead of working on another position, it's always a defensive line. I'm sorry, it's just something weird about this organization. But either way, they managed to hit on these picks, except that one. For me, that's a fail because he started initially as a rookie, but then shortly after, when they started to add more talent, he became a backup and never really reclaimed that starting role. We see now that it looks like he's penciled in as the starter this upcoming season, but it's probably because of default.
All right, next up, with the 4th selection in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette. Boy, I'm going to say fail. I'm going to say fail because despite him being a good talent, he just hasn't stayed healthy enough for this team to be on the football field. And when he is, at times, it seems like he gets lost in the shuffle and isn't able to produce because of him getting beat up week in and week out.
Here, I checked with our Facebook here before we get to our next selection. Mike Tackett is in the house. He said, just tuning in, guys. Glad to see you guys are back on hump day.
What's going
since
on, Mike?
we're on the subject of tight ends. Oh, let's get back to what he was saying here. What does Tampa do with O.J. Howard? To me, he's tight end 3 for Tampa behind Gronk and Brate. Also, thoughts on Nick O'Leary announcing he's planning to play in 2021 despite having heart surgery. Be happy, call it a career, and enjoy life.
Exactly. You know what, Mike? Definitely agree with what you're saying because Nick O'Leary, he's been in the NFL for a few years. He's had a nice ride. Now this is something pretty serious. Heart surgery. Do you really want to kind of risk it coming back to football and possibly, passing out on the football field and then you're done? Time is up. I don't think that's a very smart decision. I think he needs to think about his family, think about himself, and just stay healthy, retire from football, and move on and enjoy life. I completely agree with Mike. And just to touch on Tampa Bay situation, what to do with O.J. Howard. Yes, Gronkowski is there. Yes, Cameron Brate is a very good tight end. O.J. Howard could be, but I feel like O.J. Howard just still has yet to be given a chance to be that playmaker that he's shown flashes to be. And let's face it, Gronkowski, he's returning to football. He is an older tight end. We've seen him throughout his career get injured, a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there, 6 weeks, So there's no telling. His back is like a ticking time bomb right now. Amongst other injuries he's had, his elbow, his forearm. There's a lot that he's been injured with in his body. So what's to say that he's going to even last the season? It might be a very short window, a closed-in window for him to stay healthy. So bearing an injury, something like that, O.J. Howard could easily catapult right back into the starting lineup. And because Howard is a young, developing tight end, I feel like you don't want to get rid of someone like that unless a trade offer came through where it was like you can't pass it up,
right?
And then you go ahead and move on from him. But what's to say Gronk is even going to last?
Yeah,
so we've seen that before.
I think Byron Leftwich is going to develop some packages here where they sprinkle these guys all around with each other. And I don't know if you're going to see so much Gronkowski as like a lot of fans are maybe expecting, like he's going to be the true starter. I think they're going to find matchups here and mismatches and exploit the defenses here by using all three of these guys.
Right.
Why wouldn't you? I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't set O.J. Howard to your number 3 here.
Right.
I'd see more of Gronkowski being your number 3 as your joker that you have in this deck of cards.
Yeah,
and
agree.
this is a nice guy you bring out there, and there's your wild card here and there. And if you can match him up on your inner DB or a linebacker, still, I think you're looking nice. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
For Gronk on him.
Just think about this offense for a second. If the offensive line can protect Brady, Brady's going to be throwing to the best weapons he's ever had in his career. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk at tight end, his old pal. Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard. There's a lot to love with this team, and there's more even than in the receiving department. There's a lot of younger guys that aren't really well known that also are good players. So there's a lot to like with this offense. With Tom Brady being there, Gronk and Tom have familiarity, and they're comfortable with each other, and I think that's going to help with the process of this offense developing.
Absolutely, and I agree with you there. Mike Tack is talking about Mitch Trubisky. Could cue the Price is Right. Yeah, you lost song. There you go. There, I'm going to give it to him here.
There you go.
There you go. There's Mitch Trubisky there. He's failing hard here. We are doing the NFL Draft 2017, pass or fail. All right, let's move forward here next to, what are we on? The 5 pick. All right, yep, for the 5th round pick. Fifth pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Corey Davis, Joe. Corey Davis.
And this is the thing this is why, doesn't matter what year, you're always taking a chance with these picks, no matter where you're picking in the first round or the second round or what have you. Corey Davis was picked high because they definitely were, in full confidence that this guy was going to be the next elite type of receiver. Guess what? He isn't. He's been hurt. He's a fail for me. He hasn't been able to get it done, and he's been in and out of the lineup routinely, and the Tennessee Titans are still waiting for him to kind of just boom on the scene, and it's just not happening.
Mm-hmm. So I would say that it's going to be an epic fail for Corey Davis. What do you think of that one? All right, here. What do we got next here? Now, with the 6th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the New York Jets selected Jamal Adams here,
Oh,
Joe.
God. This is too
epic.
easy.
I love it.
This is definitely a pass all the way. And the funny thing is he might not be on the Jets by the time we get to the season. He has demanded a trade, wants out in the worst way because there's a lot of friction between him, between Adam Gase, between the organization, not willing to pay him what he deems as his worth. And he wants out because he wants to go play for a different team that will pay him the big money. So, Pro Bowl safety, an amazing athlete, and whatever team does get him, even if he stays with the Jets, it's a huge ad.
All right, next up. With the 7th selection in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Mike Williams.
Oh, Mike. I had such high hopes for you coming out of Clemson. I thought you were going to be a stellar starter for the Chargers, and boy, was I wrong. So, to me, that is a fail.
Don't fail me again.
I agree, Vader. And that's the thing, is this guy had such promise coming out of college. The Chargers fell in love with him, and he just simply hasn't panned out. Now, is he a decent player? Yeah, he's decent. But for that pick, I mean, come on. You got to be pretty special.
Don't be rude.
All right, here we go. Next up, with the 8th selection in the NFL 2017 Draft here, Christian McCaffrey goes to the Carolina Panthers.
Holy smokes. What a steal. Christian McCaffrey, 100% pass. It's not even a question. The guy can do everything. Catches out of the backfield. You could line him out at receiver if you wanted to. He can run between the tackles, run outside. He just does everything well. One of the best running backs in football, Christian McCaffrey.
Definitely. All right. With the 9th overall selection in an NFL 2017 Draft, we have Cincinnati picking John Ross.
John Ross. Oh, my God. John Ross. Oh, I love this guy coming out of the draft. He's a fail to me because, and one of the biggest knocks of him coming out into the draft was injuries. He just couldn't stay on the football field. He was a highlight reel waiting to happen all the time, but he just couldn't stay healthy, and he still hasn't been able to stay healthy in the NFL. Sorry, John.
Oh, I know. Absolutely. There it is. All right. With the 10th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Patrick Mahomes.
And the Kansas City Chiefs knew what they were doing. They did their homework on a lot of these quarterbacks in this year, and they were locked in on Patty Mahomes. They wanted him badly. They had to trade up in this draft to get him, because if they didn't trade up, someone else was going to take this kid. And luckily for them, he's already brought them to a Super Bowl in a couple years. So, yeah, that's a pass.
All right. Next up, now with the 11th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Marshawn Lattimore, Joe. Marshawn Lattimore.
I mean, again, the New Orleans Saints are one of those teams, they just draft well as well. So this is a pass. It's not even close. He's a shutdown corner, and, what's not to love?
Yeah, I mean, and you guys out there. All right. I mean, if you guys play along with us, too. What do you guys think? Are you guys passing and failing with us? So far, it's been pretty easy. Yeah, drop it in the comments.
Pass,
why not?
fail, whatever
pass,
you want
fail.
to say.
If you want to debate some of it later on, that'll be great. All right. What do we have next here? With the 12th overall selection, the Houston Texans select Deshaun Watson here.
Albert, you know what's up with this one. I mean, you got to be super elated that you got Deshaun Watson because he's really paying huge dividends for this offense. Unfortunately for Deshaun, he's extremely pissed because Bill O'Brien traded away his best friend and best weapon in DeAndre Hopkins. But that is definitely 110% a pass.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree there, too. Absolutely. Here we go. All right, now with the 13th overall selection, the Arizona Cardinals select Hassan Reddick, the linebacker.
Hassan Reddick had such promise in this draft and was definitely touted to be a starter for them. Guy's been injured since he's been in the league, so just due to injury, I'm sorry, but that has to be a fail.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's sad for him. Yeah. Oh, there he goes. Oh, man, there you go. All right. For the 14th overall selection, the Philadelphia Eagles select Derek Barnett.
Derek Barnett, another guy who had high promise, a guy that is developing still as a Philadelphia Eagle. But I'm going to give them a pass on this one because he's a good player. He's not, and for where he got picked, it's a win. He's a starting caliber player. He started ever since he was a rookie. So what's not to like? He definitely creates pressure for this defensive line, and he still needs a little bit more help though. But definitely a pass.
All right, here now. Moving right along. With the 15th overall selection in 2017 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Malik Hooker.
Malik Hooker. Now, this is an interesting pick. For me personally, I would have given them a pass. But according to the Indianapolis Colts, it seems like they're not very happy with Malik. And I think that's attributed to the amount of times he's been injured as a Colt. He hasn't really been able to stay on the football field, and because of that, I am going to give him a failing grade. Not because of talent, though. Not because of talent. He just can't stay healthy.
All right, there you go. Next now, with the 16th overall selection, the Baltimore Ravens select Marlon Humphrey.
Marlon Humphrey, a guy from straight out of Alabama, one of those championship winners. He ends up coming right into with the Ravens and locks down a spot in a year or two. And ever since, he's been rock solid with that Baltimore defense. And it's super young. He's going to be there for many years. Definitely a pass all the way.
All right. All right, now at the 17th selection in 2017, the Washington Redskins select Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen, oh my God, this guy was an absolute beast out of college, out of Wisconsin. Just great D tackle, stuffs the run, super strong for a D tackle, and just an amazing athlete given his size. Creates havoc in the backfield, whether he's running down the running back or a quarterback. Great pick. Pass.
I like you. You have balls. I like balls.
All right. With the I don't know how Goodell does this all the time. I'm tripping up the whole time. Now with the 18th overall selection.
Not that easy.
Yes. In the 2017 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Adoree Jackson.
Adoree Jackson, I'm going to give them a pass here. Adoree Jackson, but despite the recent injury to him, he's been a shutdown corner for the Tennessee Titans, and his future is definitely very bright. It's definitely a pass.
All right. All right.
Thank you, Wookie.
There you go. He agrees. All right. Now with the 19th overall selection, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is exciting here now for Mike Tackett. O.J. Howard.
O.J. Howard.
Just talking about O.J. Howard now.
Yeah, we just got done talking about O.J. Howard, and unfortunately, because he isn't the clear-cut starter, he just hasn't been able to lock down the spot, and some of that is because of injury he's had, but it's also because he just hasn't gained all the confidence, and whatever coaching staff has been there. That's another part of this, is that the offenses have changed, and he's had to try to adapt and kind of reclaim all over again that position. So because he really hasn't locked it down just yet, unfortunately it's going to have to be a fail.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
All right. Next. With the 20th overall selection in 2017 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Garrett Bowles here, the tackle.
Garrett Bowles.
Yep.
I'm sorry. This is a huge fail.
Epic failure.
He was supposed to be the next, super solid, next great left tackle for them. They really strongly believed in him, but now he's falling out of favor in Denver, and it looks like the Denver Broncos are soon going to be able to move on from him and hopefully find his replacement.
There you go. All right, and the 21st overall selection in 2017, the Detroit Lions select Gerard Davis.
Gerard Davis has been with Detroit ever since and has locked down that middle linebacking role, has been a starter for several years, and is still doing it well in Matt Patricia's defense. That's a pass for me.
There we go. All right, now with the 22nd overall selection, the Miami Dolphins select Charles Harris.
Charles Harris, a good player, but I don't think he was worth a first-round grade or first-round pick. He is a decent player, but I'm going to give the Dolphins a fail on this because he's not that impactful of a guy that you would like to see in the first round.
All righty.
Well, that was late.
It was a little late. I was trying to do multiple things here, but maybe I'll be using this one for the next one.
There you go.
With the 23rd overall selection, 2017 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Evan Ingram.
Oh, Evan Ingram. This is one of those things. Listen, I love Evan Ingram. I love his talent. I think he could have easily become one of those, top 10 type tight ends in the league. Unfortunately for Evan, he's also had a problem staying on the football field. And because of all those injuries mounting up, unfortunately, it's a fail.
Yep, absolutely. There you go. I agree. So, bam, hit him with the buzzer.
Hey, got him.
All right, here we go. with the 24th overall selection, the Oakland Raiders select Garyon Conley, who is no longer with the team.
Garyon Conley, that's an easy one. That's a fail.
Boom.
Garyon Conley came in, was definitely, listen, they were desperate for corner. They were hoping he'd become the next solid shutdown type of corner for them. Unfortunately, did not work out. They shipped him off to the Texans for a third-round pick, and that is a failure.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. All right, so
Accelerate.
Here we go. What do we got for the buzzer here? Here we go. All right. With the 25th overall selection in 2017 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Jabril Peppers.
Jabril Peppers. This was a solid pick when he got taken there. I'm going to give it a pass. I think he was a solid player for them. And now he's definitely changed teams. He's been traded since to the Giants. And he'll be playing for hopefully many years for the New York Giants. Solid player.
Yeah, I agree here too. Again, solid player, even though they trade him away, can play special teams as well, and still a great player with the Giants. So I agree. All right, with the 20th.
Come on, Roger. Power through this,
yes,
Roger.
I haven't screwed up a name yet, at least yet. All right, with the 26th overall selection here with the Atlanta Falcons select Takk McKinley.
Takk McKinley. Now, this is a guy that they were really hoping they were going to get a guy. They could pop him right in the starting spot, and he was going to just take over games. Unfortunately, he hasn't up to this point. Even though he's been on the football field, has been a little underwhelming. So, to me, that's going to be a fail.
Oh, it's an epic failure. Here we go. All right. With the 27th overall selection in 2017, the Buffalo Bills selected Tre'Davious White.
This was a huge get. This is the pick that the Raiders should have made. Instead of Garyon Conley, they should have took Tre'Davious White. So, to me, that's a pass easy. It's not even a question. He's a shutdown corner for the Buffalo Bills and just a great player.
All right. With the 28th overall selection in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Taco Charlton.
Taco Charlton, man, have you failed miserably. There's not a whole lot to talk about Taco. He really hasn't delivered for the Cowboys. They were hoping that he was the answer to their – didn't get it done.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
Agreed. Stephen Jones had one.
Yes. All right, what do we have now with the 29th overall selection? Yes, the 29th overall selection, the Cleveland Browns select David Njoku.
David Njoku, I mean, think about this now. How late in the first round this is to get a tight end. that could be definitely the starter there. However, a big problem that Njoku has had is I feel like he's just not used in whatever offense that has been there. He's shown flashes of being a vertical threat at that tight end position, but then he's been injured recently. So I think because of the value of this pick, I'm going to give him a pass on this one.
You gave him a pass. All right, good, excellent. I wasn't sure where you're going with that one. Well, see,
you gotta
that
wait
was the
until I say
Cleveland
it.
Browns, so failing on that one. That's what that meant there. All right, here now with the 30th selection, 2017, the Pittsburgh Steelers select T.J. Watt.
T.J. Watt, I mean, what a steal this was. Definitely a pass all the way. Pro Bowl player, great pass rusher, great linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fits them to a T, 100%. He's just amazing. Pittsburgh really nailed this one.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now the 31st overall selection in the 2017 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers selected Reuben Foster.
Reuben. I'll tell you right now, despite all the problems that this guy has had in college at Alabama, even into the NFL, when he was playing before his tragic injury, he was an amazing linebacker for the Niners. It's definitely a pass for me. And the only reason why his career is kind of done is because of that injury. He hasn't been able to come back from it and continue and be the same player.
Well, he has many issues off the field, too.
Yes.
The dude is a train wreck.
100%.
So,
He's got a rap sheet.
I don't know.
But to me, this is about talent on the football field. It's not about them.
Yeah, but he's not even on the football field, though.
He is. He just he hasn't returned to his stature like he once was.
Well, now
because of that
did
injury.
he go to the Redskins now? I mean, he's not even with the team anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's not nothing what he probably could have been.
But
I would have given it a fail.
But
myself.
that's the point. The point is for the pick, for his talent in his prime on the football field before that injury, he was one of the best linebackers in the game.
All right. Maybe we could ask you guys, know-it-alls out there. Reuben Foster, you give him a pass or fail. What do you guys think? I'm not sure. It's not that funny. Here we go. Diana Thomas in the house, too. She says, great show,
on,
guys.
Diana,
pleasure having you on here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Right now we're
aboard.
going over the 2017 NFL Draft. We're just giving a pass or fail. I think you want to kick it to the second round, too, after this. We're just about done. Where's the last pick of the first round?
We might as well.
I'm having a lot of fun. It'll be fun
This is
because
fun,
these
right,
guys, there's a lot of good names here, too.
Let us know. Are you having fun or not?
Yeah, I think so. I think they are, too. So I'm not sure.
I will massacre you.
Okay, whatever. All right. Well, the 32nd overall pick in the NFL's 2017 draft, the New Orleans Saints select Ryan Ramczyk.
Oh, my God. The Saints had a phenomenal draft in this one. Ryan Ramczyk, right tackle for the Saints, is a Pro Bowler, one of the best, if not the best right tackle in the business. They definitely hit the nail on the head on this one. Definitely pass.
It is pointless to resist, my son.
All right, here we go. And going into the second round, we're going to roll through this real quick, but there's a lot of good names in this one. It's going to be interesting. All right, here. Now in the second round, the 33rd overall selection, the Green Bay Packers select Kevin King.
Kevin King. For the second round, Kevin King was a little bit longer of a developmental type player, but he ended up becoming a starter for them and becoming a average to below average type starter. So that early in the second round, I'm going to give it a fail.
Oh, boom. All right. Now with the 34th overall selection, 2017 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Cam Robinson.
Cam Robinson. I mean, this guy in the second round, are you kidding me? He's a Pro Bowl-esque tackle for this team. He's definitely lights out. He's definitely a yes. Definitely a pass.
All right. All right, with the 35th overall selection, the Seattle Seahawks select Malik McDowell.
Malik McDowell, fail. That's simple. Not spending too much time. I'm just not spending too much time on a guy who was basically a project to begin with and just never worked hard enough to get there.
There we go. All right, now with the 36th overall selection, the Arizona Cardinals select Budda Baker.
Oh, the kid can play corner, he can play safety, and he's doing it very well. A great player all around for the Cardinals.
All right. I think some of the next couple are going to be fun. All right, here now with the 37th overall selection, the Buffalo Bills select Zay Jones.
Zay Jones, fail. He was a second-round pick. Yes, I get that. But he was seen in the light of being a starter on the outside, and he was with the Bills for a short amount of time. Bills didn't like his play. He gets shipped off over to the Raiders in a trade, and he still hasn't been able to lock down the starting role. Sorry.
Yep. All right, with the 38th overall selection, 2017 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Forrest Lamp.
Forrest comes in with the Chargers, was supposed to be the lockdown type of guard for the Chargers, and has been he has been a very good guard for them. I would say because it's a second-round pick, it's definitely a pass.
That day on, if I was going somewhere, I was running.
I don't know how much running he was doing, but
no, he wasn't doing much. Ms. Forrest. All right. All right, with the 40th overall selection, Curtis Samuel goes to the Carolina Panthers.
Curtis Samuel is one of those kind of versatile weapons that they have. Good player, not great, but nonetheless, he's definitely carved out a niche in that offense. However, with this new regime coming in this season, I'm going to be interested to see how they utilize all these different weapons. But I would say definitely a pass for right now.
All right. Now, with the 41st overall selection, the Minnesota Vikings select Dalvin Cook.
Oh, my God. This guy has been injured in and out of the lineup, but when he's healthy, he's one of the great running backs in this league. He can do everything. He can catch out of the backfield, which makes him dangerous. And with his blazing speed, it's hard to contend with. So I'm going to say because it was second round, it's a pass. If it was a first-round pick, I would say fail because of the injuries.
Boom, shakalaka.
All right. All right, with the 42nd overall selection in the 2017 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Marcus Williams.
Marcus Williams, really? This draft was epic for the Saints, I'll
right,
tell you.
Right.
I mean, Marcus Williams.
A lot of them, though. It's pretty interesting.
Now, let's kind of turn the page on this a little bit. Let's just say, as a disclaimer, we're going to forget about that little mishap Marcus Williams had against the Vikings in the playoffs. Just saying, we're going to overlook that a little bit. And despite that problem there, I'm going to give this kid a pass. He's a good safety in the back end. And the Saints have really, they won this draft already.
Don't fail me again.
Right. All right, with the 43rd overall selection, the Philadelphia Eagles select Sidney Jones.
Sidney Jones, a guy that slipped in this draft due to injury in college, was projected to be a first-round type corner. Eagles ended up getting him in the second round, which was a great pickup. However, tragically injured, trying to fight back. He still hasn't locked down a starting spot, even though the Eagles desperately need a shutdown corner there. He may get another opportunity this year, but he still hasn't locked it down. That's a fail.
All right. That's some loud crickets. All right, with the 44th overall selection, the Los Angeles Rams select Gerald Everett here.
Gerald Everett,
end
second round pick, huh? Mm-hmm. Gerald Everett, and he's a good one too. He was injured last season, but when he has been given the opportunity, he has taken it in stride and has really performed well. I'm going to say that's a pass.
Boom! There you go. All right, next with the 45th overall selection, the Chicago Bears select another tight end, Adam Shaheen.
That's a fail.
Boom.
Adam Shaheen, he's supposed to come in with that being a second-round pick. He's supposed to come in, develop as a tight end, and take over that starting job. Hasn't been able to do it. Trey Burton was there.
Yeah, they had to
he
bring
left.
other guys in.
Now he's with Philly, so it's kind of like a mixed bag there. So unfortunately, that's definitely a fail.
Mm-hmm. All right, with the 46th overall selection in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Quincy Wilson. Sorry,
Quincy Wilson.
Screwed up the name.
It's okay. It's okay, Roger.
That's one.
You're getting tired.
Yeah.
But Quincy Wilson, real quick, that's a fail. It's not even worth talking about. Never developed.
Yeah. All right. With the 47th overall selection, the Baltimore Ravens select Tyus Bowser.
Tyus Bowser, a good player, but more of a rotational piece. Never ended up becoming that starting quality type of linebacker. He still is, involved in that rotation with the Ravens, with that young group, that good, solid group. But being a second-round pick, I definitely expected him to be more of an impact type player, and hasn't done so. So that's a fail.
Boom. All right. With the 48th overall selection, the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, great pick. In the second round, you're getting yourself a great running back. And unfortunately, he's on a team that's still rebuilding. But Mixon, great player,
real nice.
Great pick. Pass.
If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
All right. Hey, with the 49th overall selection, the Washington Redskins select Ryan Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Fail.
Yeah, fail. There you go.
Not spending time on that one.
There you go.
Not spending time. Not worth it.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not.
Not taking him.
For Washington. All right, here you go. With the 50th overall selection, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Justin Evans.
Justin Evans. Going to say that's a fail. Pretty below average type of player. Just not working out.
Oh, there you go. Wrong. All right. With the 51st overall selection, the Denver Broncos select Marcus Walker.
Marcus Walker, another good rotational piece for them on the roster, but with the second round tag, that's a fail.
Boom, fail. All right, getting towards the end here. All right, here we go. Here's an interesting one, too.
Okay,
how about this guy?
got?
There's a lot of talk going around about this guy.
All right.
One of
Okay.
Cleveland's, again, many quarterbacks. The 52nd overall selection in 2017 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Deshaun Kaiser. Remember
Kaiser,
this debate
yes.
that was going on with the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, Deshaun Kaiser. I mean, listen, solid backup, but never going to be a starting caliber quarterback. He's been in the league long enough. We already know that now. He's a career backup going forward. So it's a fail. I mean, you can't take a guy in the second round and hope that he's going to just.
I don't even know where he is right now. Is he?
He's on the Raiders right now.
Wow.
He's there.
Somehow they've got Nathan Peterman penciled in above him.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. I don't think either one of them are going to be on the roster.
I don't think anyone.
So,
yeah.
But then again, look at where he's been. He's been on the Browns. He's been on Green Bay. He's been on the Raiders. He's probably been on two other teams that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know. Here he goes. Oh, man. All right, next up with the 53rd overall selection, the Detroit Lions select Teez Tabor.
Teez Tabor did not pan out to be their guy. Second round pick. I'm sorry. You got to become some kind of a starter or a very, very good piece to be utilized with the team. Didn't pan out. Fail.
Somebody kill me!
All right, with the 54th overall selection, the Miami Dolphins select Raekwon McMillan.
Raekwon McMillan. Now, this was a nice sleeper pick for the Miami Dolphins. Out of Ohio State, was a solid player in college, and unfortunately was out for last season because of injury. But we've seen 1 year as a rookie, which showed flashes for the Dolphins defense. He's going to be a good player. I think that's going to be a pass for me.
Yes, my master.
All right. Okay. All right. With the 55th overall selection, the New York Giants select Dalvin Tomlinson.
Dalvin Tomlinson. Now, some people were kind of shocked about this pick when it happened, but I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Great D tackle coming out of college. Yahoo! Had all the attributes that you're looking for. Solid, strong base, very strong. More versatile than people give him credit for, despite his size. That's a pass for me.
All right, there we go. Dalvin Tomlinson. All right, with the 56th overall selection, the Oakland Raiders select Obi Melifonwu. Yeah, I thought so. There you go.
Right.
I screwed one up. There's my one. I get it.
It's okay, because you didn't even need to. You could have just said Obi. It's just a fail. Guy being picked in the second round was supposed to develop to be that starting safety. played safety for like a year, was hurt the rest of his career. Raiders get rid of him, and enough said. It was just a terrible pick.
All right, here we go. All right, 57th overall selection in 2017 NFL drafts. The Houston Texans select Zach Cunningham.
Zach Cunningham. Now, this is a guy that some people were kind of wavering on. Do you think he could adapt to the NFL well? He's got athletic ability. Is he too slow? Is he a good tackler? There was a lot of problems that were kind of being bounced back and forth. Some people even questioned his coverage ability. But Zach Cunningham kind of fell into the perfect scenario for him in his gameplay with the Texans. Fit that defense to a T. So that's a pass for the Texans.
All right, there you go.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Drums.
Yeah. All right, with the 58th overall selection, the Seattle Seahawks select Ethan Pocic.
Yeah.
I knew it was something like that.
Ethan Pocic still with Seattle, mind you, and still the starting caliber guard that he is. He helps kind of solidify that offensive line and has done an admirable job. Not the best, but not the worst. He's had a nice steady groove there. That's a pass.
All right, there you go. All right, with the 59th overall selection, the Kansas City Chiefs select Tano Kapasaganan. What the?
I know. Anyway, we're just going to get past that.
I'm sorry. I just can't get it always.
No, it's fine.
Sometimes
we know that there's going to be some very difficult names to pronounce.
Yes,
I
know.
But nonetheless, guy out of Villanova. He was the first player since Howie Long to be drafted from that college. Came in, was a developmental player for the Chiefs. He has found himself a rotational role in this defense, but hasn't really made a huge impact. So for me, being in the second round pick, that's a fail.
Oh, bummer. Incorrect. All right, now with the 60th overall selection, the Dallas Cowboys select Chidobe Awuzie.
Woozier.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, I mean, I was very high on him coming out of Colorado. I was really excited. I was actually hoping the Raiders would draft this kid. Unfortunately, it didn't. The Cowboys got themselves a stud in the second round. I mean, he's a starting corner and a shutdown corner for the Dallas Cowboys in the second round, late in the second round. That's a pass.
Boom. There you go. What? All right, with the 61st overall selection, the Green Bay Packers select Josh Jones.
Josh Jones? Josh Jones, I'm not really remembering a whole lot about Josh Jones, which tells me one thing. It's probably a fail.
All right. With the 62nd overall selection, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Juju Smith-Schuster.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
He was big. Wow. I mean, that's just a steal all day long. Mm-hmm. One of the better receivers and a young stud at that in the NFL. Definitely a pass all the way.
All right, here we go. Getting towards the end here of the second round, and we're going to wrap it up with the 63rd overall selection in the 2017 NFL Draft. The Buffalo Bills select Deion Dawkins.
Deion Dawkins. Now, this is a guy who showed promise coming out of college, was more of a seen as a developmental type of offensive lineman. And I'm sorry, like, even though he has started in his career, I don't feel he is up to par with his pass protection. Very weak at that. He's not too bad at run blocking, but again, you can't have a one-dimensional offensive lineman, so that's a fail for me. Sorry, Deion.
Oh, yeah. All right, finally now with the final selection in the second round in the 2017
what we got?
NFL Draft. The Carolina Panthers select Taylor Moton.
Taylor Moton. Now, this was a pleasant surprise for the Panthers. He has developed slowly, but has definitely gained traction as a average to above average player. I think that late in the second round, I think that's going to be a pass pick for me. And that's we went through two rounds.
We went through 2 rounds, and that was fairly quick too.
Just for the heck of it.
Just get an extra one there. There you go. So, I mean, it was pretty fun. We went through a lot of stuff. It went fairly quickly. I think there was a lot of right ones that we had too.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
Definitely,
also some that were like
I feel
mixed or
that
debatable.
there was a nice blend, I think, especially in the second round of pass and fail.
I think the Zay Jones interesting, and
yeah.
again, I mean, for me, Reuben Foster, again, he's a great, talented player and stuff, but I think just off the field issues here and there, couldn't get back into the field, and then by then, I don't know, it's tough.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with Reuben. It was more about his injury than his off the field issues, because that's what really ended his career. When he was on and healthy, he was amazing. And yeah, you're right. He had a little bit of a rough patch, but it really only suspended him for almost a season. And then after that, he came back in and was playing well until he got injured.
Yep. So there you go. There's our NFL pass and fail.
Yeah, and if you've managed to follow us through the first round, second round, the whole thing, whatever, go ahead. Don't hesitate. Comment below. Let us know what you feel on those draft picks. Do you think that they were a pass? Do you think they were a fail? Do you think they're just not even worth mentioning? Because there was definitely a few of those.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
The longest soundbite we have.
It is.
In your rambling, incoherent response, were you even close to anything
I'm all out.
that could be considered a rational thought? Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points.
So long.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
Mercy on your soul.
So all you know-it-alls, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Go ahead. Don't hesitate to comment below. If you haven't already done so and you're new to the group, become a know-it-all. Head over to YouTube. Hit the subscription button. Search us up, Football on the Know Show. And go ahead and hit the notification bell for all our latest and greatest updated content. You can also follow us for all the most updated news and some funny skits and so forth on Twitter at FB_know. And we're also on Facebook. You can go ahead and search us up that same way, Football on the Know Show.
That's right. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we will see you guys next time.
Join us next week from 8 till 10 Wednesday night for Ball on the Know with Jim and